Okay, so it's November 15th of 2024. I got a long-ass video converting over, like 3 hours and 42 minutes. I thought maybe I should break them up into part 1, part 2, but I said to heck with it. I just keep it all under one roof, right? So, I'll convert it over and then I'll reconvert it over to lower the gigabyte on it. Because when they get to that amount of time, the gigabytes go up. Do you see how I do my laundry? I'm in my hall here. I have to repair the light over here. The little pull thing is out of its socket. So, kind of doing this shit in the dark. But whatever. And what I do is I wash it in my sink, right? In an old General Electric wash machine, which is great. I love those because you control the water. Right? In terms of, you can actually stick your hand into the tub and move things around, and you can, you know, stop your spin cycles easily if you're doing gentle stuff, or if you want to soak something for a long time, you can. And I prefer that versus these spin things. I don't like those machines. So anyway, it's a bit obnoxious to have your washing machine up by your kitchen sink, but something is better than nothing. Hold on a minute. Yeah, and because I never use the laundry room downstairs, right, I hang everything up on coat hangers. I screw in hooks, and then I run a chain. And then I hang the hook, the curtain, the clothes hangers on a chain. One, it helps to put a little bit of moisture into the air, because this house is so dry. And, I mean, it works. But I still wish I had a proper laundry room, because, you know, Amari goes through a lot of clothes, and, you know, he lays on blankets, and if he leaks out from his diaper, then that can become a problem. So, anyway, because I've been doing these videos, you know, and we know I'm going to be coming into some more meat. Oh yeah, this is all Amari's clothes. I'm taking them off this chain right now. And this all Amari's clothes. Everything is Amari's. Oh my God. And he's still just a little guy. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when he gets older. Yeah. Like this, you know, this is grueling. Yeah, right? Look. Just Amari's. All Amari's. Yeah. Because he drools. You know, you give him a bottle, right? And he gets it all over. And, you know, you feed him and it falls on his shirt. And just whatever, right? So, anyway, I thought for this video, because, you know, I did some orders because I don't want to be doing this after December too much. No, you know, and don't even know if some of this stuff I'll be able to do in a few months from now. So basically, what happened was, I mentioned in this last video that's converting over that I forgot what was in that pot in the fridge. And because, you know, I'm stressed out, right? Not only am I overworking myself with extra things to do when it comes to quote-unquote canning, but, you know, I've got that problem where I'm unwanted. You know what I'm saying? Right? And I'm expected to take down my chain and go somewhere else. Yeah. Because all of a sudden I don't meet the requirements of what a good tenant is. Okay. So that plays on my head every single day. Every single day. Right? So, to keep it light, when the food comes, I just thought maybe we'll do like a little food haul or whatever. And I'll just go through it with you quickly. Explain to you why I bought it, because I did. I bought more shit. What I bought this time was sliced Cracker Barrel cheese from Walmart because of rollback. You know, you get 2 packets for $10. So you save a couple of dollars there. And I don't need marbled cheese, pizza cheese, none of that, cheddar cheese. I don't need that because I have that. And after I'm done the potatoes and all this other crap, that's when I'll be dehydrating what's downstairs in Auntie Chemay's fridge. Right? Not including what we just eat upstairs, right? Because I buy in bulk, eh? And then, so it's because of that, I bought the the sliced what is it? Havarti? Oh, my nose running. The sliced Havarti cheese, sliced Swiss cheese. I wanted the Swiss cheese because I have canned corned beef, right? And I want to, you know, make a corned beef Swiss sandwich with melted, you know, Swiss cheese on top on rye bread for something different to show Andre, because I haven't done that yet. And being that, you know, so, but thing is, I have to vacuum seal their packages. Because if you leave them in there the way they have them packaged, because there's air, they don't last for very long, right? And because I bought a fair amount, you know, it's gonna be sitting in a fridge for a while. So my vacuum sealer is right there. So I created myself more work, right? Because I have to open up all those packages. Oh yeah, and vacuum seal, take everything out and put them in another bag and vacuum seal them up. Just, yeah, so I can have it for a while anyway, right? Something different. Jallo, you know, like Montgomery with jalapeno, another hot pepper, there's a different kind there, those kind of things. So I bought that. I didn't need no mozzarella, I didn't need no cheddar, I didn't need no marble, because I already have those. And then asparagus, because asparagus is expensive, like almost $9 a pound. So it's on sale at Walmart right now for $6 a pound. Asparagus is easy to digest. So I did buy 2 asparagus before, but with everything that I've been doing, and then of course I crash, right? I have to sleep at some point, and then, oh my God, my nose. And then freaking cat food. I'm standing right over the bucket of cat food here. It's in a bowl. Bucket is closed, but either or, regardless. It went to garden dirt making. I never did get a chance to do anything with it. So I basically threw out $18 or whatever it was I spent for it, because, well, I probably bought it on sale, but the point is I can't afford to be throwing out money like that. All right. So in this situation, I bought 6 on sale. I think it was 6 or 7, maybe 7. And I'm going to dehydrate them. Yep. Right away. I'll do that probably starting tomorrow at some point. Now, I checked my order from Canadian Superstore, and it doesn't look like the carrots are coming through. Whatever I tried to place last night, they're just refusing to give me carrots. I don't know why. So I'm not too worried about it though, right? The parsnips should come in anyway, and I do have carrots in my fridge, so I'm not too worried about it. And I can always get carrots another day. That's not the issue. The issue is just keep working on that menu plan with the supplements to the supplements. All right, so there's 3 parts to it, you know, not just one part. You have the main section, then you have a supplement to that section, And then you have a supplement to the supplement, where that's, you try and introduce those cost-saving measures. To which brings me as to how silly I am, where when I recorded me taking that plum pulp that I was squeezing out for juice, I forgot that I'd already poured the juice into the pot and put the pot in the fridge. And then when I looked at the pot in the fridge, I was like, I don't know, I can't remember what's in there, you know, because I'm kind of overdoing it here. And I just assumed that I didn't get no liquid. And then I decided I wasn't going to can those plums, because for what it was worth, being that I didn't get my juice, to hell with it, right? It's compost. You know, it'll make good dirt. I'll try again next time. But it turns out I actually do have a pot full of juice. So before I do that, I have to do this, because the box is over there with the apples, 2 boxes. So basically what I'm going to do in between my deliveries is I'm going to peel apples, probably, well, I'm going to go through the 2 boxes and see what I take out of them. See how well they held up being stored in a box in between layers of cardboard or paper, in between paper, like paper bags, eh? Yeah. To protect them so they don't spoil as fast as I was waiting for the plums. So definitely today I am going to be making apple juice to some degree or another. Okay? Even if I just can a couple of jars of just straight up apple juice, or I add some apple juice to the plums just to spread it out under that supplement within a supplement when it comes to quote unquote prune juice. Right? I'm trying to extend the prune juice. Okay? By adding in a bit of apple juice. But I'm going to need apples to mix in with the pears. Right? I mean, the prunes, right? The plums that are like been already, they're in a bowl, they're in the fridge. So with that said, I've decided now I'm not putting it into the compost or into the garden bed. No, I'm not doing that. I am going to take the apples that I'm steaming and combine the 2 together, puree them, perhaps in a nice blender so they're really, 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 really pureed, and then add in some juice, some apple juice for that pectin with a bit of sugar. And then my neighbor, she gave me jars that are pasta jars with the, with the button lids. And being that I'm canning the juice, this is an experiment. Being that I'm going to be canning the juice by repurposing commercial juice jars, glass juice jars, that I've been buying with the organic prune juice or apple juice or whatever it is, as long as they're glass, which I have enough, I think. Well, with the pulp, after I puree it and get it to kind of where I want it, you can use it on waffles, you could use it in crepes, you could use it on pancakes, you could make a jelly roll with it, just whatever, right? I'm going to attempt to can them in those pasta jars with the pop-up lid as another cost-saving measure to the supplement within the whole budget, right? Okay? I guess that's it for clothes. Yeah. Now we should go look at these apples. I have to find my flashlight though and open the door so I can see what's going, and get myself a bowl. Now, I'm kind of worn out, but I'm going to pace myself with love in my heart. So food tastes better, right? You don't want to be angry. Try and avoid that if you can. And it's okay to blow some steam and do a little rant and everything, but at the end of the day, do what you can, pick your battles. Well, today is apples and plums, and put the meat in the fridge, put the cheese in the fridge. I don't have to vacuum seal it today, right? But I'm going to show you, all right? And because I bought a fair amount, I can spread it out over the next 4, 5, 6 months with them being vacuum sealed. No problem. Leaving them in the containers that they're in right now, no, they wouldn't last that long. But if you vacuum seal them, oh yeah, for sure. And so I got that base covered. I don't have to worry about marble cheese, cheddar cheese, mozzarella cheese. I even have Parmesan cheese that I have still nicely vacuum sealed in the fridge that I have when I was making the Alfredo sauce, what, a year and a half ago? Cheese lasts a long time. It's the mold, and even then you can cut off the mold into a 1/4 inch of the cheese, and then what's on the inside is still fine. But that's a hard cheese, okay? Not a cottage cheese. You can't do that with a cottage cheese, because cottage cheese is porous and the mold will travel through. Right? You'll find mold halfway through the container, not thinking it's there, but it will be there because of the way it's all put together. Oh, I have to find this flashlight, so hold on. Okay, so you see apples and apples, okay? I thought I'd try saving them this way until I was ready to use them. Right. And yes, my eyesight got worse. I've been doing a lot of computer stuff too, so that does not help. So what you do, you get to see it like I get to see it. It smells like apples. So we know what we're doing today. We're gonna peel some apples, steam some apples, make some apple juice. We're gonna can a few jars of just straight up apple juice by itself. We're gonna take some of that apple juice and put it back in with the plums and the apples after they've been squeezed out, right? Because you need a little bit of liquid. And add a little bit of sugar, and I'm canning them up in old pasta jars. I'm repurposing pasta jars with pop lids, right? And I may also, I'm gonna can up, because now that I remember that I have prune juice in my fridge, I'll can a few jars of just straight up prune juice that I made with the plums that I had, as well as I want to try that 50-50 ratio of the prune juice with the apple juice combined. So maybe I'll make 2 jars of that. Either or, that's what we're doing. Well, the pork is just going to sit in the fridge, and then tomorrow I'll start tackling the pork, hopefully, or at least finishing up with this stuff. But once I put the other stuff in the fridge, I'm not going to have much room, so I kind of have to do this today, which who knows how long it's going to take, but it's a water bath. So this is where you just pace yourself through it, right? So this is just to give you an idea. Okay, you can see what's going on here, right? So, I mean, from what I can tell, they're holding up pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but that's okay. So, I mean, oh yeah, see, this one didn't work because it was bruised, right? So that's a bruised apple. So even when you do it this way, you still have to come in and check them and take out that one rotten apple, because the one rotten apple, what is it going to do? It's going to make everything rotten. But I don't got time for that, because I've got 2 boxes here, double layered at least. I don't know if it's triple layered. So I'm definitely going to take the top layer, right? And we're going to start with that. I'm going to fill up my juicer. Oh yeah, there's another one. I just felt it. I don't see it, but I can feel it. So that's 2. No good. So yeah, it would be in my best interest to go through the boxes. See, here's another one. These things have only been here a couple of weeks, and it's close by the door, so it's cool here. So, you know, when you look online and you read these little tips and things, you know, how to save money by, you know, preserving your food, right? It doesn't always work very well. Okay, so that's the first layer, and all I did was take a Walmart paper bag between the layers, right? So it's only 2 layers. So if these ones are good, so you check every one, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the other box, and I'm going to go and relayer. Now these ones are actually firmer, to be honest with you. They feel firmer than what was up. Oh no, here's one that's no going. I can feel it, right? Here's another one. Okay. Alright, so we know we have to get to these apples ASAP over the next week. after I take out the bad ones. It's important that you come back and you do this. You know, how often, I don't know. These have been here for about a week and a half, I guess you could say. So there you go. So we've got that many that are basically making good dirt, right? Because that's what's happening. And then we've got a bowl filling up. So I'll just take a couple from there, make it the one layer, right? And then we're going to get into the other box. I'm going to lay that paper back down. Right. I can still put more into the bowl, right? Because, you know, you're here now, so you might as well just go through them and be done with it, because clearly some of them are rotting. I don't have a lot of space here because that rack for the drying, for the clothes is right here. And then I've got jars. I bought a steamer that to steam my couch, right? To steam it like with a hot, like a steam, like it shoots out hot steam that disinfects things. I want to do that, right? Because, you know, with Amari, it would be a good idea because, you know, we're always dealing with diapers and shit. Versus steam cleaning, which my little steam cleaner is downstairs. I've never used it. I let my son use it, but it takes too long to dry. So I thought I'd try that, but I haven't done that yet. So take now you're downsizing on your boxes, right? Clearly you can see that's what I'm doing here. So I'm now putting the second layer back on top of the box that I just went through. I think the one that was lower down, these ones seem to be better, but then maybe, you know, who knows. So I really want to get to that little Punjabi store that I used to like to shop at when I had my car and I could see and drive, right? I used to go there all the time. And, you know, for various reasons, right? In terms of vegetables and that type of stuff. So we'll just see how it goes, right? Right now we're just testing out how to supplement the supplement. And if it's worth going out of your way to do this in terms of saving money, right? And so far, in terms of jars, it's not costing me anything to do what I'm doing in jars because I already have the jars, even though they're commercial jars. Okay? And if for whatever reason they don't work and they're popping and doing whatever and I'm not happy with them, then of course I wouldn't do that again, right? I would go out of my way to use canning jars, which I have 2 cases there. So even if I was to can, this one's going to, right? So one little spot out of that whole box, but that's all it would take to start making everything else spoil, so you got to take that out. You know, after I can everything in the water bath in these commercial jars, and if it looks like they're popping, like very fair, or they didn't seal or whatever, in a situation like that, I would just cut to the chase, and I would just start using ball jars, right? Which will hold up for years. I'm telling you, they will hold up for freaking years. Oh yeah, no problem. Okay, so we got another full box here of, I don't want it popping up. I have to use smaller ones. Why is it? You want it flat, you don't want to bruise them, right? These were small little apples, imperfect apples from Canadian Superstore, right? You know, they weren't like top of the line. You know, for when you're just doing stuff like what I'm doing, it's not necessary. So, and they were on sale and whatever. So next time, no, I would like to go to that little Punjabi store and see what they have for fruit and vegetables, right? And if they have apples in the good old days like they used to have them, oh yeah, I'd be buying a few bags of that. I don't care if it's $2 a bag now. It's worth it. So we're gonna start with at least one bowl. Well, I'm gonna make well, 2. You know, I'm gonna make. Well, you'll see what I'm gonna make. See, look. You think I'd get tired of jars, but no. I am though. So we got a nice full box of apples here. That'll work. I'll probably need to come back and get a few more. because I don't think that's going to be enough for what I need to do right now. Right? I have to count the jars that my neighbor gave me. Keep the box, right? Because I'm always doing something with boxes. I'm not quite done with boxes yet. Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, so I don't think that's going to be enough for what I need, but we know where there's a few more, right? Another little box full anyway. So I'll start with that. All the pots are out and everything. And then we know that we're going to be repurposing the commercial jars. So hopefully it will be okay. Now, you know, have I done this before with a... I think I have, but not... I don't know. Nothing stands out in my head. So when you put the lid on, you just make sure you don't real tight. Because normally when you're doing this stuff, you know, it has to spit out air. And if need be, even liquid. Because if you don't relieve that, if you don't allow the insides to be released under pressure when it needs to be, it will explode your jar in the canner. It doesn't matter if it's a water bath or a pressure canner. So I would think the same principle would apply, right? When you're putting on these, because it seals by the rim, eh? And then when it's sealed, obviously the button will go down, right? We all know that. So when you put it on, I would assume just finger tight. And because this is what you call a lug lid, it's a lug lid. It's not a canning ball. Hold on a minute. Maybe that's my order. Okay, I got some stuff here, but I don't know. You know, I tried to add in the extra carrots, and I didn't get no carrots. Absolutely none. And I didn't get no prune juice. Nope. Either or. I didn't get. So, you know, they want me to come back and buy. That's why. Right? Right? She on a spending spree. So, what I did, because I like to go for those points, right? I'm stacking them, packing them. So, these are chickpeas. A fairly large, and this is going to be another one of those staples that I either cook from my own dry organic chickpeas and put into a container, or I open up a can. Either or. These came in with PC points, and they're just chickpeas and water. That's what you want it canned in. Plus, it's a nice, it's a 796 mil, so it's a little bigger jar. So I bought 12 of those, right? And they were reasonably priced. I don't remember what it was now, but, you know. And I also have around the house as well. I already have, but, you know, going for the PC points, getting a little deal where I can, and just finishing up. So what will happen with those ones, being that I have other ones around the house, when I clear off my desk, my dresser, to get that velour out of there with the trunk, I'll put a bottom layer of those cans. I might even have to order a few more, we'll see. And then that's on the bottom, and then on top will be jars with the beef broth and that type of thing, right? You know? Because I won't need them right away, because I've got other ones around the house. But plus I've got, you know, I got oodles and oodles of organic chickpeas in Mylar bags, you know, 50 pounds at a time in buckets. So I'm not worried about it, right? Because, you know, I have to get into the habit of making my own mayonnaise. Now, mind you, I have a bit of mayonnaise already, but I have to get into the habit of it. So this is where this stuff comes in handy, right? I'm already hearing something pop, and I'm not even around my jars. And then, of course, because you get, for every $2 you spend on fish, with this brand in particular at this point, you know you get 200 PC points. So, yeah, for the last 4 or 5 shops, that's all I've been doing is buying 12 cans of sardines this, 12 cans of sardines that. So I'm getting a little bit of cost saving there. And then, you know, because this stuff will sit for a long time. So I'm just finishing up with that. And then we already talked about extracts and what I can do if I decide to make like a lemon extract or orange extract. That I can probably do for myself, no problem. I don't need vanilla extract because I've already done that. But when it comes to almonds, no. I decided, and I went with the cheaper brand even though I wanted the glass bottles, but whatever. What are the ingredients on this? I was curious to see. I don't know if I've seen the ingredients on this. Oh boy. The pork racks are not what I was thinking in terms of what I had last time when I did pork. Water, alcohol, oil of bitter almond. So that's fine. Right. So I don't have to worry about almond oil now for a little while. Unless, of course, I want to pacify myself one day and order just one in that little glass bottle because, you know, I want to make almond cookies at some point. Right? And what I want to do and what I actually accomplish sometimes are two different things. And then I bought these little things, which is a Filipino extract. And they were, you know, $7 a bottle or something like that. So I thought I'd try it, and I bought 4 of them just because, more than likely, I don't know if they gave me 4. Well, I got 3. Yeah, 3. Looks like only 3. Oh no, yeah, 4 of them. So I got enough to last me a long time, unless, of course, I really, really like them. Right? And, so we'll see what we can do with that. I've got some cookbooks and stuff like that. Maybe I might have something from the Philippines. I don't know. Right? And then I'm doing, you know, I'm going to be making my own gravies and stuff. But at some point, you're going to need some kind of bouillon. Now, I don't need bouillons anymore, per se, because I already did that run. But I did not try, and I'm trying different kinds, right, to see what I like. And that's why, you know, for something like this, you're looking at $5. Okay? When that's what the dehydrated carrots are for, even the parsley, you know, obviously the parsnips. Well, maybe the parsnips I could even put in with the, you know, as you're making your gravy mixes, you'd probably have to use something like this or whatever you can find. And I've got different things to choose from. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it or whatever. I just know that I'll be doing something. I've got different kinds, right? And the more I can remove these, per se, to what degree or another, I don't know, and put in my own tomato powder, put in my own carrot powder, put in my own parsley powder, in combination of a few bouillon cubes or something, who knows, versus having to do it that way. You know, again, it kind of going to that, well, how can you maximize your dollar for quality food where you have your main menu with your main ingredients with the supplements to the and then of course you've got the supplements to the supplements, right? And then I got a couple of, oh my god, I paid $5 for 4 freaking these little batteries are so expensive. $5, like what the hell? And that was on sale, and it was like, it was over $10. It was half price. That's ridiculous. They must have made a mistake there. I don't know. Oh, wow. I have batteries, but, you know, these little ones, we go through them pretty fast. But if I would have known that, I wouldn't have bought them. Obviously, I wasn't reading things correctly. Anyway, and then, because I'm pretty sure my son and that girl, so-called AKA wife, you know, I have a sneaky feeling they maybe threw out my spaghetti down there from that 14-year-old food storage area that were in boxes taped up. Because like I said, you know, they've kind of prevented me from going in there and really looking around. So I'm not 100% sure that it's there. But when I did get a chance to get in there, I didn't see it, people. I didn't see it. And like, even now, it just burns my goat. Because food is so fucking expensive. And that pasta, the way it was packaged up and everything, the only thing that would have prevented us from eating it was if it got infested with bugs, and it didn't. So where the hell did those boxes go? I don't know. So in the meantime, again, PC points, right? This here is just a no name, but it's fine. If you notice, it says tricolor, and that's because it has spinach powder in it, and I guess carrot powder. I can't remember. I know it's spinach. One is spinach, and the other one is I don't know, carrots or something like that. Can't see shit. Eyes are bad. Oh boy, I'm scaring myself with it. I try not to get scared. I honestly try not to get scared with this shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't but be afraid to face the fucking future, right? So either or. It could be carrots. Ingredients. Here we go. What does it say? So dark. Oh my lord. GGG's. Where's the flashlight? Flashlight. Where'd you go? Oh no. Jesus Christ. Come on. Come. Where are you? Yeah, my short-term memory with all this stress and everything, and with battling my eyes, and it's not cool. I got 6 bags of parsnips. So you know I'll be dehydrating those. And being that I do got carrots in my fridge, I'll just get to those over the course of the week as I'm working on that meat, right? Which wasn't as much as I was expecting, but honestly, I'm happy with what I got because it's manageable, right? I don't know what the hell happened to it. Oh, here we go. I'm just curious to see, because by buying it with the spinach powder in it, and this is where you're looking for calories and nutrients, right? By getting it, even if it's a no name, by getting it with the spinach, so tomato powder. So you got the durum wheat, right? The samala, I guess wheat, wheat samala, okay. Durum wheat, semiola, okay, which is right. Tomato powder and spinach powder, and that's it. But because you bought it with the spinach powder and the tomato powder, you're getting a few more nutrients in terms of your iron count has gone up to 10%, and you got some calcium in there with the 3%. Whereas if you bought just regular old pasta, you're going to look in there and you're going to see it's not going to be as much. So I bought, it looks like, and I bought this before, and what I do with these is I got 2 size gallon Mylar bags, and I'm just putting them into the Mylar bags. And then at some point, I may or may not, when I got time, cut the bag open a little bit, throw an oxygen absorber in there, right, and then an oxygen absorber into the actual Mylar bag, and then seal it up, right? And that would go from bag to bag to bag, because I have a fair few of these, and I bought 6 more of these just because they are, you know, they store well long term, and Andre likes pasta, so, you know, again, it's going to be one of those things where it becomes, you're on a system with it, right? So I got so 6 of those, and I got PC points on them. So in that sense, it becomes a discount, right? And then I just picked up an extra cornstarch, only because I had to bring my bill up to $300 so I could get my free gift, to which doesn't look like it's very much when it comes to toothpaste and that kind of shit. But I guess in that situation, every little bit counts, right? And then obviously the parsley and the red kale, right? You don't get much for your money. Like, this was like $316 or something like that. And I didn't get my juice, and I didn't get my carrots, but I did get my free gift, which, you know, for that extra $40, taking it to that $300 mark is, you know, again, every little bit helps, right? Because that you just put away, and, you know, and I already have toothpaste and stuff, so. And then I got 4 of these, you know, because, you know, you get them on sale, a limit of 4, so I picked up 4 of those. And that's it, and $300 and some odd dollars, right, for the most part. You know, it's ridiculous, but it gets to the point where you don't, you know, you know, I'm, like I said, I'm going to be soon, right, where I don't have to, I won't need chickpeas for a long time, let's just put it that way. Hold on. Okay, so, is it 16th? November 16th or November 15th? I'm not sure. It's Saturday. Anyway, we're going to stay focused on this juice. Right? Because, like I said, my short-term memory, because I'm working so hard and I'm under so much stress and da-da-da, you know, and, you know, I get the pressure in my head and whatever. I forgot that what I was looking at when I took off those cast iron frying pans and whatnot, as I was squeezing out what was left in the plums, I have a big pot full of juice. It's actually a fair amount, now that I'm thinking about it. So I might be able to get, if I had to, and I'm going to do apples right now. I'm going to get them cooking, and I'm just going to pace myself throughout the day. I'm dehydrating all the parsnips that I bought. I think it was 4 bags. And I had some carrots kicking around, so I started to dehydrate those, and I will continue to dehydrate the carrots that I already have. The order that I tried to place with Canadian Superstore in terms of the juice top-up and the carrots, they didn't give it to me because I think they max out at a certain number of items, and then therefore they just don't give them to you because they want you to order back, because the orders get too big, right? Based on the number of items that you have, I suppose. Either or, it doesn't matter. So I'm working on the carrots in my fridge. Plus I bought 2 more that I'm going to get tomorrow, which are organic. So between today and tomorrow, well, actually, I'm not going to worry about carrots because I've got 6 bunches. 6? I think it's 6. 5 or 6 bunches of asparagus coming in at $7 a bunch on sale. And I just picked up 3 more because I ordered dirt. I ordered some bags of dirt because I need to utilize my little grow room. Although I have shit in there that I have no place else to put it. So it kind of... I have my green onions still growing in there, and I started lettuce in a little pot, and I don't know, I haven't watered it for a couple of days, but it needs to be transplanted, either or. I'm hoping they're still okay. Every time I go in there, they're just getting bigger. So they're, you know, but I haven't watered them for a few days. So actually, before I start this, I need to go water and see what's going on, because I bought some dirt. I'd like to transplant that little bit of lettuce that I have, at least in a few separate pots. I don't know where to put shit anymore, people. I mean, I just have to wait until I get into a position where I can focus on putting things online and maybe selling them before I give them away. Because it's going to come down to one or the other. I'd like to try and sell them first for Andre's sake, so he can learn how to do it, and I don't just start throwing away money. I'm just saying, right? Tisha's dad came into the house, was flirting with me. He looking around, right? He goes, holy shit, you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff in here. Why don't you sell some? And I said, well, I'm planning on doing that, but I just can't yet because, you know, I got to finish this stuff, right? So that's what we're going to work on. So hopefully by the end of the video, we'll get these into the canner. And, yeah. So I'm going to start with apples. I'm not going to rant and rave about my situation. I have food security in the house. I've worked years and years and years and years to establish it. I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to establish it. I've put in thousands of hours. It's not easy peasy stuff to do this, you know, time after time after time, right? It sucks up a lot of energy, and you got to be coordinated with your time, and you know, and just, yeah. So, you know, and I'm at that point now where, you know, my biggest shop today was buying dirt. In terms of, that's all I bought, 2 bags of organic carrots to add to the carrots, because as the ones I did yesterday, dehydrating, I can see it's not going to be a lot, and I've got a couple of more bags. I think some are just regular and some are organic, so I'm going to do a few more of those bags. So I bought 2 more just to top it off, and that's basically going to go into probably, I'd like a pint size, a quart. I'd like a quart size jar, brown like this, right, with powdered carrots, mainly organic, if I can do that, right? But not, you know, like I think the last 2 bags I had were organic because they were like in my fridge, and I pulled them out. 1 bag actually got frozen because it was at the back of the fridge. I pulled it out and it sat, and anyway, I dehydrated those. So I'd like to get at least a quart size, a 1 liter size of powdered dehydrated carrots for gravy making, most definitely, and what do you call that? For Amari, a tablespoon at a time, as I'm creating his dishes, right? Just as extra fiber, extra vitamins, and that's not including if and when, like me, myself, and I, once I'm all said and done with this, assuming that I can still see, I'd like to start juicing carrots and drink it to maybe prevent this onset of going blinder faster. But, you know, I'm too busy. My juicer is over there. I have no room. I'm doing all this stuff. So I'm always last on the list. Either or. We know what we're doing. So I'm going to get on with these apples, get them steamy, and then I'm going to put these jars, they're clean, so I'm just going to put these jars in the oven at 225, so it basically sterilizes them, right? I'm not sure if I want to pasteurize or boil, but because I'm using lug lids, it might be better to boil. And I'm just going to use my pressure canner because it's high, and then I just put a flat pizza pan lid on top, and it works out pretty good. So I'll probably boil these for at least 30 minutes on a low medium rolling boil once I get it boiling, right? I'm not going to have it going like that. It's unnecessary, because you can actually pasteurize juice between 185 and 195 after you've made it, and then just pasteurize it for half an hour, 30 minutes. That's with bowl lids, right? And that's not a boil, people. You're not at a boil yet. You're just pasteurizing it, and with it sitting in the water like that for 30 minutes at that temperature, it seals the jar. So, anyway, we'll be back. Okay, so I'm still watching this inflation viral TikTok rants part. This is part 8. And, you know, this guy nails it for me in terms of, when I say, people, I did what I did because of doom and gloom, kind of like a little cloud hovering over me, right? In terms of in the past to where we are today to where we might be in a few years from now. So no regrets doing what I've done, and when it comes to food prep, right? However, I have taken a lot of flack for it, a lot of criticism for it. My life has been trashed because of it. And, you know, and it goes back to that little hen. You know, the sky is falling, or no, who is the one that goes and mills the, you know, plants the wheat, sows the ground, plants the wheat, waters the wheat. Well, I guess sowing is gathering it, but first you have to break the ground, get the ground ready, then you plant the seeds, then you water it, right? Then you have to harvest it, then you have to mill it, and then you take it, and you have flour, and then you have to bake the cake, and then as soon as the cake is on the table, everybody comes to the table, but nobody helped you do all that other stuff beforehand. All right. So anyway, I do believe that we're still going to go into a war economy of some kind. I do. And I've already mentioned that I wouldn't be surprised, and it's actually already starting, only they don't call it balancing the budget. These politicians in the United States of America, they just want to do their cutbacks, right? You know, but one or two politicians going to throw in there, oh, well, we got to balance the budget, you know, blah, 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 blah. And once that starts happening with what's going on right now, I would assume that things will even get worse for millions. We're not talking just a few 100,000. We're talking millions of people right across the continent between Canada and the USA are going to suffer because of it. Because what the USA does, many politicians in Canada do. All right. So I have food security because I sacrificed my time, my self-esteem in terms of the amount of criticism that I received for my efforts, lack of respect from people around me that thought I was a little off the wall because, right, we live in Canada, okay? And not to mention the money, whether it was just straight up money or credit cards, didn't matter. Money is money, and I'm in a high debt load. And I did it on behalf, well, not on behalf, but in care of my landlords, so that if the shit should hit the fan globally and we went into a global depression because of war affecting the economy right across the board, yeah, my credit cards are high. I pay whatever, but at the end of the day, where I'm at right now with things, I made sure that their rent would always get paid first before I say, I'm sorry, I can't pay the rent this month because I have empty cupboards and I have to feed my grandkids and everybody else in the house because, you know, we're practically starving because the economy is so bad. She doesn't appreciate that concept, people. And neither does her family because, I don't know, like I said, we're dealing with organized religion in partnership with corrupt governments and obviously overseas influences that are bringing in transhumanism, which is already here. You just don't notice it because you take things for face value. And oftentimes when you're under stress and these things are presented to you and they look human, you wouldn't notice it because you're under stress, like when Sierra died. That coroner was not a human being. That coroner that stood in front of me, right, as this thing was slamming the door in my face with fucking 6'2", 5" female cops, like in terms of height. They were unusually very, very tall, right? And with the baby-faced cop with the 6'7" guarding the door, preventing me from identifying my own dead daughter's body. And then I went back in and I did exposure on those faces that I could come across. And yeah, that coroner was not a human being. Okay. So, and because I was under stress and being rushed, right, and put on guard, I didn't notice it. What I noticed was what was in the video that was taken to exposure to bring to the surface what is underneath the face. Okay, by density. All right. So you can't be surprised as to what's going on, and for anyone to expect it to stop because there's nice people, everybody's nice in the world, is asinine. Right? Talk about a freaking fairy tale. Okay? So, I don't know what my videos accomplish other than YouTube likes to fuck with my head with their psychological warfare assessments so they can sell that information to third-party, corporations so that they can master fucking over other people's heads along the way, through that data that's being collected, right along with AI, learning how to navigate around human emotions so that they walk out with the upper hand in terms of being in control because they know how to push you back 20 feet, right? Just saying, because it's like a chess game, right? Every time you think you're just a little further ahead, I got food security in my house, been working on it for years and years and years and years. Again, blah, 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 blah. And what is my landlady doing? She's pushing me 20 steps, 30 steps, 40 steps, 50 steps back. Okay? And every time I get pushed back, I get injured. And it becomes even more difficult to try and, I guess you could say, survive. All right. So with that said, this person here, well, we're going to listen to it. And as soon as we come into it, I'm going to stop. Because now that other people are talking like me, where I've been talking about certain things for quite a few years now, and being ignored and mocked and ridiculed and demoralized and slandered and the whole 9 yards, right? You know, the only thing that I can think of in terms of what I do with these videos is for the few people that do watch them, and you don't even have to watch them, you can just listen to them. Oftentimes I just, I'm in Pittering doing this in the kitchen, whatever, and I'll listen. And even sometimes, if I don't get a chance, because I like to record, I go through my videos, I upload as is, and then every now and then I like to see what it sounds like on this computer screen versus that computer screen, which is a little smaller, different speakers, or whatever. And, I'll put it playing in the background just to see if what I'm saying for the subscribers or the viewers that are listening to it or watching it is making any sense. Now, of course, I'm going to say, yeah, it makes sense because I'm the one saying it. But sometimes you have to kind of like step out of the box and listen to it from a different perspective. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm not like in abundance. Andre, turn that down. It's nattering. I'm not, I don't have an abundance of knowledge to share, right? In terms of survival skills. Right? Or cooking techniques or all that crap. I can only give you what my instincts tell me, what my motherhood has taught me, what past lives perhaps have taught me through that instincts and in being intuitive, through my experimentation, through my dedication, and now that I am where I am with things when it comes to food security, and I've been saying it for quite a few years, no regrets, no regrets, no regrets. You have to remind yourself, no regrets, because people beat you up and criticize you and put you down for thinking ahead. Well, fast forward, we're going into 2025, and a whole lot of people are being left in the freaking dust, right? And don't know how to play catch up, never mind maintain on what they're trying to do, right? Where me, I'm losing everything. It doesn't matter if it's my eyesight, my house, because if the house goes, the food will be like, who knows, right? Because I'm not going to be able to afford, as like my landlady reminded me on several occasions, that this will be the last house I'll ever live in like this because I just won't be able to afford it. Well, thank you very much. Because ultimately it comes from your temple with the corruption that created that fucking problem. But that's okay. I know why they do it, people. Because illegal organ harvesting is flourishing. So is the harvesting of teeth for robotoids and all that other crap, right? It's just people, they're not aware of that yet. They don't want to accept that because they live in a bubble. They're afraid to face the reality of what humanity in general is up against, unless of course you're the baddest of the bad, a criminal of criminal mind, and you're willing to do bad things in order to sustain yourself and get wealthy. And that's the way life, that's what life has brought me to. So let's just listen to this dude, okay?
But people are walking around like nothing's wrong, everything is fine, everything is dandy.
Still getting that. There's still quite a few people in denial.
But it won't be long before people are going to have to decide whether to pay the rent.
Yeah, are you listening? It won't be long before people have to decide to either pay their rent, pay their mortgage, or not buy food. I said that years ago. I always put my landlady first in terms of rent, but I didn't expect to be abused about it, threatened over it, demoralized and humiliated and castrated because of the corruption in the fucking province and the continent in general, right? Because of organized crime syndicates on multiple levels. You can't tell me out of all those people making mad money off of this corruption that not one individual isn't a criminal. It only takes 3 under the Criminal Code of Canada, let me remind you, to form a criminal organization. They never said, oh, well, if you're hired on as a politician, you'll never be a criminal because, you know, that's an ethical job and your job descriptions, it protects your character. Right? And so on and so on and so on and so on down the public union sector line. Or even the private sector for that matter. Right?
Pay the mortgage or feed their families. And of course, people are going to choose to feed their families. And so, who knows what's going to happen. But I was at the mall the other day and it was pretty packed. But there wasn't really that many people holding bags. It was just people hanging around window shopping, which doesn't mean squat. It just means people want to get out of the houses and hang around, maybe eat at the food court. And that the food court was popping, of course. But we're going to have to wait and see. I foresee a lot more shoplifting, a lot of stores going out of business because of that. And there's going to be a lot of break-ins, a lot of cars being stolen, a lot of parts being stolen, wheels, catalytic converters, which is already happening. But it's going to, like, you know, more and more people are going to want to do it because they have no other way. More and more people are going to turn to scamming and stealing and all that stuff because things have gotten so expensive. So...
well, we live under a scam. So, you know, do unto others as you do unto them, right? You know what I'm saying? Or, right? We're living a scam, okay? It's been an illusion for a long time.
We'll see. What's the solution? The only solution is for the banks and the Federal Reserve to forgive all debt. That's the only way. There's no...
Put criminals into jail who need to be there. Fire corrupt public union sector workers and hope that you can replace them with people with morality and scruples, right? And hone in the underground economy to prevent human trafficking, whether it's through slave labor, the exploitation of tenants and that type of thing, right, for maximum dollar amount without any recourse to have dignity, right? In other words, you'll end up homeless after they're done using and abusing you and taking everything that they could possibly take out of you until there's nothing left to fucking take. And then, yeah, you end up out in the street, and then when you really lose it, then they lure you to your death, and they harvest your whatever body parts that they can. And that's all going and then that money is being funneled through the underground economy, and then it's being laundered into the housing market. That's government. That's government with their partner groups in partnership with organized religion people. I can't say it enough.
No other solution. Even if we took 20 nations to war and gave them money to buy from us, it still wouldn't help the situation.
Okay, so you can see better than me. I always get busy. Man, as fast as I cut these things down, they grow back. But I don't get to water all the time. This is what there looks like they're maybe wanting to get to a point where they're going to flower. But this is a lettuce. Little lettuce. There's a whole bunch of them in there. Yeah. So I want to transplant them and then eat them. They taste like a bitter lettuce. Probably because they're not getting enough water. Look at this. As if I got anything to grow room in here. right? Court papers and shit down there. Uncle John stuff, Shimei stuff, Amari stuff. And then as I'm putting these bigger jars away, I'm pulling out books, right? A lot of school books. So I'm going to be setting, like when we start working on selling things, hopefully, I'm going to set up a little homeschool center of some kind. And obviously some cookbooks, I don't know. I got all kinds of crazy crap materials, whatever. It's hard to say, right? Like this is the liquidation of humanity, you know, in terms of, right? Either or. Okay, so this was a sweet potato, but again, I don't get in here and water very much. So, needless to say. Okay, so I did apples. I don't know what it tastes like. Let's taste it. It's mild. And this is the plum that I forgot. As you can see, it's quite thick. So, and that's mild too. And then what little bit that I did squeeze out, I ended up spilling most of it on the floor because the container fell out of the fridge. Anyway. So, I could just put them together and keep it simple. It's pretty good. Okay, so who cans juice at 3 o'clock in the morning? I went to sleep for a while. So basically, just so I can get on with it, I put the prune juice that I had in with the apple juice. So we're probably going to get 4 or 5 liters anyway, I would think. It doesn't taste that bad. I added, like it tastes pretty good, right? For juice, that is, for prune juice and apple juice. I added a little bit of sugar, about 3/4 of a cup. So I'm just bringing it to a boil now. Heating up my canner. I had it up, but I crashed, right, people? So we'll do this now. Yeah, it's rich. I don't know how it tastes in comparison to what I buy. So what I should do is open up one of those ones that I buy and compare the two tastes, right? But this one's been diluted a bit with apple juice, but you can see, right? And once I bring it to a boil, the color's even going to get richer, right? So, okay, so these jars held up well in the oven at 225. They've been in the oven for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, because, like I said, I went to sleep for a while. And I got 4 out right now. I don't know. I'll be lucky to get 4 jars. So hold on. Okay, so we are just experimenting here now. There's about, well, there's 5 cups and a bit. Right? I will take the time at a later date to measure exactly how many cups are in these jars, but 5 and a bit. Okay? And if you notice, I'm a little shy on this one. And if what fell on the floor, it would have topped it off. So for what I made, I would have gotten 4 of these. Okay, so this one here is going to go in the fridge after it cools down. And we're going to see if Amari will drink it. Alright? And basically it's apple prune. So when I put this on, I'm going to have to hang on to the jar, right? Just put it on. You don't need, no, you can just do like this. I already wiped the rims. Just give it a little turn. Not real tight, right? Just a bit. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, we don't know. I don't know. Okay, now I'm going to put them in there. Hold on. So I have to add more hot water in there, so I'm just heating it up. You know, as I'm listening to YouTube and their videos and whatever, and you know how those, on your main, when you log in and They give you suggested videos to watch. And then you get these cops with their body cams, right? And doing whatever they're doing. The songs that were muted and hidden on my video, right, are some of the same songs that they play on those videos. Isn't that, interesting, eh? Right. Right. I'm just saying. Okay, so you have two ways of doing this. You can bring it to a boil, put on a lid, and then, don't have it at a high-speed boil, but a rolling boil. I'd do it for at least 30 minutes, right? Or you can bring it up to that pasteurizing point at 185 to 190, and then you don't even have to cover it. It kind of looks like that, and then you do it for 30 minutes, or these jars tend to be a little larger, maybe 35 minutes. In this situation, I am going to, because it's a lug lid and I'm not familiar with lug lids, I think pasteurizing would probably work fine with it. But we're just going to bring it to a bit of a boil, and then once I hear it boiling in there, then I'll adjust the heat, and I'll do that for 30 minutes or so. Right? Yeah, at least 30 minutes. Right, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'll do it for 30 minutes. And in terms of the dollar amount, so we'll just say 4 of those jars. They're selling at the store right now at $12.49. Now, mind you, it's organic, quote unquote. So we'll put them at that. So 12 and 12 is 24. We'll just say 4 jars because a little bit spilt on the floor, right? So that's 48, and another $2 for the 50 cents on each jar. So that's $50 for the 4 jars. I don't know exactly how much I spent for apples and the plums. Obviously, the plums were more expensive, but I didn't like the way they were ripening. And even the apples, too, because they're spraying, I don't know what it's called. It's a new thing that they created, and they're using it as a preservative so that food can sit out longer without spoiling. And they're talking about spraying it on everything. And I think it's affecting food, honestly, I do. Now, mind you, my house is dry, and I have issues with the house in general. So, some of it could be from that reason, in terms of not ripening properly. I'm either getting one of two things. Like papaya. Oh my God, papaya is so hard to ripen without having it mold. Right? I'm almost at the point where I don't even know if I want to buy papaya, because I bought like 3 or 4 of them, and all of them took too long to ripen, and when they were starting to ripen, they were starting to mold in different little spots, and even then I don't think they were ripe, and I tried it in the bag with the banana, and that didn't work, and blah 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 blah, right? And or they just shrivel up. Things are just shriveling up. I don't know if other people notice that, like the outside of the skin of the fruit. That's what was happening with the plums. They were shriveling up, and they weren't necessarily ripening as best as they could have been. And even with the apples, if they sit around for any length of time, they're shriveling up, obviously rotting from the inside out. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it has to do with that stuff that they're spraying on food now. They're spraying it on food, and it can sit on your counter for 3 months. But as it's sitting on your counter, the outside skin is shriveling up. So the more you can go organic, and even when they sell it in the store and it says organic, isn't necessarily quote unquote 100% organic. This is bulgur wheat that I got on sale. So I'm going to put this in a jar. This, limit of 4 at a discount price. So it's just one more jar with something in it. And nutrients, iron 11%, calcium 2%, potassium. Calories, 160 calories for 45 grams. So it's a good high calorie count. It would have more nutrients than that. But anyway, so I'm going to say I saved half of that $50. It cost me $25 in fruit. We'll just say, I'd have to go back and look in my bill. We'll just say it cost me $25, $30 in fruit, only because the prunes were probably more expensive. Obviously, apples were not. I know where I should be able to get cheaper apples, right? And Tisha's going to take me to the food bank. I want to do that sometime in the next week or two. And when I'm out, finally, I haven't been out in years, people, right? Then I'm going to go to that little Punjabi store and I'm going to see if they still sell their discounted apples. Because if they do, then in that situation, I'll buy a couple of bags anyway, 2, 3 bags, 4 bags, you know, anywhere from $4 to $8, and they're fairly big bags because they're discounted apples, right, with big apples. And that's assuming that they still do that. And then I might go, you know, I'm like, you can do apple kiwi. Like, I have a container of kiwi in my fridge, and I have apples, but I'm busy. I got to do the pork, right? So apple kiwi juice would be really nice, and kiwi is good for Amari as well because it's easy to digest, right? So I think before I put the canner away, because I have these jars, right? I got more still, and then of course he'll be drinking. So in a couple of weeks from now, I'll have the jars again, right? And you can repurpose these lids a few times. What you have to watch for is when they start to deteriorate on the inside. As long as the rubber is still holding up, apparently it's still good. So that's what I'm going to do. Whether it's apple kiwi, maybe I'll do apple plum again, depends, right? Like when I go to that little Punjabi store, I'll see what they have there. And I'll combine the apple with some, I'm really kind of wanting to do apple kiwi. So in a situation like that, I'd buy like 4 containers of kiwi, and then a whole bunch of apples, combine the two, and obviously the more you can quote unquote go organic, the better it is, right? But you can't have everything you want. But you know, and even when you pay, you don't get necessarily what you want, because like I said, they're doing something with the food these days. You know, they're making it, I don't know, it doesn't react the same. It doesn't even taste the same. Like these apples I've been buying, like they're not even, they don't even have a really strong flavor, right? You know? But for what I did, it was okay. And I'm going to put it at, I saved myself at least $25, half. Instead of spending $50, I spent $25. But it could be a bit more because I don't, like I said, I don't remember what I paid for those plums. I wasn't thinking about cost. I was just like at that time, right? This is why I like these jars. This is why I like these jars. These are nice jars. But then I have to find a spot for them. Right. I like these ones better at $13 a jar. They're nice and sturdy and strong. I don't necessarily like the lids per se, but I like the jars. And these ball jars though, the glass is flimsy. It's not as strong. I was reading the reviews. They were saying they're strong glass. No, they're not strong glass. The one I just showed you, the square one, is a strong glass. Because even in shipping, one broke. But it's a fair size. So, and then once I finish up with all that, find places for these things to put away, then, you know, just keep clearing out crap, and then we'll get into cooking with this stuff more and more. Right? Anyway, I guess that's the end of this video. We'll just leave it at that. I didn't realize, I forgot that I had that juice in the fridge. Right, so tomorrow I'm working on dehydrating asparagus, because asparagus is easy to digest. So I bought 3 more asparagus. I've got 6 sitting there by my door where it's close to the door, covered up with a blanket where it's cold, right? Because, you know, there's whatever, I had no room in my fridge. So tomorrow, and you have to blanch it. You have to blanch asparagus before you can dehydrate it. So tomorrow, basically, I'll be picking away at a whole bunch of asparagus. At least, well, anyway, for the next couple of days, I'll be doing asparagus dehydrating. And then some of it I'll be grinding up. And then I might just leave, you know, the top ends, some of them small little pieces, because when you make it into a powder, you could make asparagus cream soup or whatever, and it's basically as a supplement more for amari, because asparagus is easy to digest. Kiwis are easy to digest. Right? Papaya is easy to digest, but I have a very hard time ripening papayas in this house. Right? So I don't know. Okay, so I'm looking at my past order here, right? For their organic prune juice, 2 of them, it was $25. Where am I? All right. Now, for whatever reason, they got me at $27.97 for these plums. They say 1, but no, I bought more than 1 because I remember the bags coming in. And then the black plums, I don't know, they got me down at 1, but they're not calculating this correctly. Anyway, $7.75. I think I got 10 of them, right? And because I didn't know what kind of plums to buy. And then I went with the naturally imperfect apples. It was $9 a bag. But I don't necessarily like those apples. I don't think so. I think I'm going to shop around in those little food stores if I can get out with Tisha, and she'll help me with that. And then we got these plums, because again, I wasn't too sure. They put them down at $8. I wasn't too sure what plums would be the better plums to use, but I found that none of them really ripened very well. Hold on a minute. Okay, so anyway, sometimes these numbers don't match up on the bills that you get after you pay for everything. But based on what I'm reading here, I'm going to put the apples at $1.50, which would have turned out to be about $13.50. And then $8 for the plums, $7.75 for the, and okay, so $43.72 for the plums, which is clearly unreasonable. And then add in another $13.50. It turned out to be $57.22 in fruit to get 4 jars, like you just seen, of juice. Now, mind you, I have the pulp, but at this point, honestly, I'm going to look at it tomorrow. And I don't know what I honestly, I'm tired. I've got other things to do. And, you know, I may or may not can it up just for the sake of canning it up and not wasting my money. And I have to put it in a pot, combine the two together, add a bit of water, a little bit of lemon juice and some sugar, and then taste it. And if I like it, then fine, I'll can it. And maybe I'll use it at a later date for like a, I don't know, in between like a synonym bun, only it wouldn't be synonym, it would be apple and plum in the middle of the dough, right? Just using that as an example, because I don't know if Amari would necessarily eat it because I took out all the juice. I mean, I probably could still blend it in with his foods as I go, right? But it's not normally what I would do, right? I wouldn't take out the juice. So this is where you gotta shop around, right? Or at least get things on sale before you do this stuff, okay? Or if you have a tree like I do, but those plums are kind of fickle, and like I say, they don't always ripen all at one time, and they're really not that sweet. And if you want them sweet, you have to get them to the right point of ripening. But you know, the air in the house in the summertime, I mean the air in his house in general is just whatever, but in the summertime it's really, really hot, and you know, and before things ripen they'll start to mold, and there's only so much room to be letting this stuff, because when you're ripening plums, they're not supposed to touch each other, and it's like, it can get complicated, right? So hold on. Okay, so now I'm looking at the meat here now. Like I said, these things don't necessarily match up to what is on your actual bill. So, regardless, let's see. The pork side ribs at that time was $19.54 when I did the beef, with the beef bones, and the ribs with the rib bones, and I rendered the pork, right? Here they're listing the pork at $19.54, which, if I remember correctly, was about right. The meat was about $70, and that was on sale. That's why I bought it at $6.99 a pound. Now, I did get 2 packs of beef bones, but honestly, I don't even know if they charged me for it, because when I tried to find them on the bill, I couldn't see them, and I don't see them here. Either or, we're just going to round off what I had at $100, okay? And then, with that said, I actually did get a fair amount of jars, right? When you break it up into, I guess you can say, a meal, even though it doesn't seem like it's a meal when it comes to a pint-sized jar of rich beef bone broth or pork bone broth, right? You know what I'm saying? So, hold on a minute. So anyway, I did find the bill with the bones that wasn't on there. Right? So they gave me the bones for free. That was like $12 for whatever strange reason they did. But anyway, the meat with the bones and the ribs, like the beef, the bones and the ribs, was about $100. I know I got 3 full cases at 250 mils with rich bone broth in between the meats. So that's 36 jars there. Plus we got 14, I think it was 14 or 15 jars of rich bone broth between the beef and the pork, right? So that was, we'll just say 50 jars, right? 50 jars, not including the cost of the jars. But you take the 50 jars, you divide it into that $100. That's like $2 a meal per jar, right? But we know with the bone broth, I'm going to be spreading it out between 2 or 3 meals as I'm using it for Amari's food. Not, you know, or I could put it in a rice or whatever, but for the most part, we're doing this for Amari. So, in regards to the jars with the meat, you know, you're looking at $2 a jar, right? And that will be 2 meals for Amari, spread out between 1 to 2 days, depending on how I give it to him. That's not bad, people. Now, I'm going to do this pork again. This time I'll really crunch the numbers, just to see how far we can stretch that dollar in between, you know, for that calorie count, eh? So I just turned off the canner, and I'm going to give it a few minutes before I bring these jars out, and then I'm just going to end this video, and yeah, I'm kind of like getting worn out here, so hold on. Voila. Okay, what I noticed is these seal after you take them out, and they sit for a while. Pop, pop, pop. So they're all down. I know there's only 3 of them, and this was just an experiment, but I'm working on it. And now I'm on the hunt for good deals. I got kiwi on my mind. I know where I'm going to go look for some apples, and I'm going to build on this. Kiwi actually has the golden kiwis. I don't know about the green ones, but the golden kiwis actually have a lot of nutrients. So I have some kiwi in my fridge, but not enough, I don't think, to... Oh, I suppose I could. It depends. Make 1 small batch and can 1 jar, but for what it's worth, now I'll wait. I'll plan it in the next month, 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm going to do juice again, but I'm going to be a little more organized, and I'm going to see if Tisha can help me to get to different locations to buy fruit. at a cheaper price in bigger bulk, and who knows what I'll find until I get there, right? And of course, get creative, right? Like, for example, a while back, I bought, maybe 6 months ago, cranberry sauce in a can on sale for like 97 cents each per can. And I didn't buy it per se to eat the cranberries from the, cranberry sauce, because we don't eat cranberry sauce. But I did buy it to add as a supplement when I'm making juice, because the vitamin count in it is extremely high. Mm-hmm. The only problem is when you cook things with vitamin C, it tends to cook off. How much it cooks off, I don't know. That's interesting. Maybe I should try and figure that one out. Hold on. Oh, yeah. And then we've got the bulgur wheat, right?